Bayport Savings and Loans, target save accounts, text Bayport to 7,000 MTN users and 1904 all other networks. City Call Smarts mobile phones, Wama Masumaya de. Second Kings Real Estate, the home for kings, from 0244 645784. Feco Spray Starch, look sharp. Latest from your partner for life. Amen Scientific Clinic, Allow Shafi God is the healer. Lily Sunflower Oil, tasty food, happy family. Vodafone, the future is exciting. Tabia Heba Mixture, your true and authentic Heba medicine. One of the Swasnia, Yedi Bro, what's your document in Canada? What's your BY in Canada? Edianko,
Yabakwana Quadunium now, Bono, Imudaho, what do you man to kind of me? Way a personal dedication, special one to someone special. Your friend Abigail Maushi or Kansi. Kumi, you do I'm a personal producer. I'm a personal person.
Manager.
You are right. Manager. Yeah, for Ghanaian times the Obokrata and Fanchas, Ghanaian times the Obokrata, my penny for you. While she African way, come, and a flower said the minimum say, my penny and run, what she vows the as you said. Na Krata than any more, my penny wasn't saying, Nina NSA as a gosso, they say they have origin, and on a 1 year pause a capital, and I take you man so, Bono East, a 1 year pause a capital. It's a say the Bono, a idea, chichimian, they say, Minim Sabak, never friend of Bono have origin, there, because they say, Sunday, Bono any half, and they say, I have origin. And the other Bono East region. It means a friend of Bono region, now Bono have origin.
I have for no dear free tea, a bet you may a bono, but I have come on a dear. You bet you may have bono near Bono East. But I see a best saying Yabuna have for you, dear Emma. If I have a debate we buy some time. Oh no, I have for no damn membu. You benya Bono, any Bono East. And now Bono West, Bono East. And you were for Nina, and then I have for you a while. Ometu, come. I say, I do not support Pebby, one Mujino Mampenny, Chairman, Mampenny Essence sign on. Ghanaian times of Ocrata is speaking, we won't know by no Mampenny, sir. One transmessica crab, Yabia, Mayagana, Dish Bukata. Was it the indiscipline in the financial sector? Was it Yadi or Betias or Bekaya, yet to Krumana a ye buyer, Yanum D. DKM buyer, yet to Krumha, and men's good years of buyer, yet to Krumha, and I just mutus God is love, no Cronabama, Fusika Kokemua, and no one says that I time can say, wouldn't one video be about Montina saying, yes, mammy be our turn, I'm no yenos, oh, wait, and now why, yeah, I'm watching Tama born a man, now swinging I ask him. Well, or my penny is son of Manado Besso, I'm be a cost of memo. Now, right to information bill, could you? Na ko mo passes said you so mo dia chef fridge mu kakra ni nyina ne say nipa bi atro no ma bi dia basa be yanka amendment yemfa enka ho eno nam so ma ukopie mu o ma mu brahye bedwafi a wo mo se de be ya bibia betumi aboboa ne nti na ne chairman a wona ne da committee no ano wonu kra sa ye emrahye bedwani ogina ode ma o manfo wo fin so south abato mpesu aso Ben Abdella ene ne wode aba beto monten se wo mo pese on be pro mo be bibia na afie be kwa wiase no e de asem be nti se de wo twentwen so kakra na afie wo mo ma date wo mo be chance asa ka de agum na committee a wo mo ne hwe from the captain from the Ramete here, no say ye real consideration stage na ne aka third reading ni apase. E ho no memete say o mawie enti ne aka ne say third reading ne beba na sika e wose e de ye offices e wose e de ye ne board ni omo e wose appoint omo no. So hwe 2018 budget no a ya kan ya wie ya mfata 2019 ya mfata sa yi right to information bill way into the 2019 budget. Eti no ne wose ya ne say twentwen so na say yem pass because of amount for the fofra abade. I don't know how when
what's the amount for the woman saka documents via was omutimi amende and it wants some ewa na okay or say this is because the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs has received new proposed amendments to the bill.
Any ne.
It is Obokrata no. Kratafa etosu dunum. Ene wode ho nsem aba. And yenso yakin kebia mati bi ene say o mampanyini wa pass Presidential Fiscal Responsibility Advisory Council. And also ho nsem e ha yes council no my inaugurations from kokra the Obokrata Ghanaian time.
Ene yenko daily guide mu na daily guide me sha see Africa ta fa duna ne wo de. Ya chiri nipa nson every combat.
Ene MPO Kumbugu Honorable Ras Mubarak. Kentwas Honorable, good morning.
Captain.
Let's say
Boko, say.
Nyamia do me ho ya na won so.
Very good, very good, very good.
Na right to information bill no den esi ho mo ye ne den da ben am be pass.
Data ya dey be pass there. Say we can't say for now. And we can't say because there are proposed amendments. I know so you got third reading now, but no. But as we keep moving, we keep getting requests from institutions. I'm saying, and I know as a Bank of Ghana has made a specific request, but Bank of Ghana request, not for instance, has already been taken care of in the draft bill. Bank of Ghana say provisions to exempt certain classified information from being released to the public. But in the draft bill, there are exemptions. Captain, these are all some of the things that create delays. Because back to the floor, no, we will debate it, look at the merits of their request. And we have other items on the agenda of Parliament. So I can't say, but an interesting thing happened yesterday. There was a request to put a date for the implementation of RTI to the next financial year, which would be January of 2020. And there was demonstrable amount of goodwill on the part of Parliament to get RTI done. But the attorney said, because the excuse was that Abai has not budgeted for the implementation of RTI. And Captain, you will ask yourself, all this while when we were working on the RTI since the last year, Abai and him said Parliament is likely to finish this year, and it has to be implemented, and for which reason budgetary provisions had to be made. But be that as it may, Kurano, every ministry, Captain, and you would know this, ministry, departments, and agencies bear our budget lines. They have a budget line for goods and services. What goods and services are, and even if it is CAPEX, there's an opportunity for environment. There's a line item or budget for no. They can actually introduce a new item and make a request to use money from an item they had already budgeted for. Now, Captain, you ask yourself, if Captain Smart of Adom FM wants information from Kumbungu on how the DC for Kumbungu has spent his common fund, and I say how the MP for Kumbungu has spent his common fund, must we have an information officer in place and a budget in place to be able to release this information? Clearly not. Clearly not, because there is a whole chain of command at every ministry, department, and agency. But in the bill, there's a provision for information officers. Now, in many ministries, in many departments, in many agencies, information officers are already in place. And you don't need an entire recruitment of information officers who would be able to transmit information on RTI. And I feel, sir, it is sad, those of us, people like yourself, Captain, who has been at the forefront of fighting Katazushe and the prayer, should feel very saddened. Sir, Ghanaians need it to know. 20 years down the line, there is still an attempt by the executive to still frustrate the process. And don't forget, next year we are going into an election. For all you know, people's attention might not even be on getting information from MDA. And for all you know, you could get into an election year, and because of the purposes of an election, provisions for the implementation of RTI could be trimmed down. Because, Captain, so ministry be in the budget. Are you with me?
I'm listening to you.
Ministry be in the budget. They go to the Ministry of Finance to justify the budget. The Minister for Finance will look at the budget and say, we don't have enough money to do A, B, C, and D, and to trim it down. They would come back and trim down the budget. And the trimming could affect capital expenditure or goods and services where monies would be taken for the implementation of RTI. And clearly, Parliament is committed to getting it down, but unfortunately, the executive, as has been the case over the years, seem to be dragging its foot as far as having us have this bill into law is concerned.
Politicians must throw RTI.
Media, Yesura and Kamin Kancho say I feel very disappointed. And I'm sure that you heard members from our side who have argued strongly, say, persons like the ranking member on constitutional and legal, the Honorable Ines of Oseni, who has argued, say, we needed to have it this year. But unfortunately, because the executive is not ready, and it is the executive that is sponsoring the bill, they are not ready to implement it this year. And sometimes there are considerations in putting together, for instance, timelines for the implementation of bills. If the executive is not ready and you tie them down into law, that could also create problems. There was another law, I can't remember which one. You put about 5 years for its implementation. 5 years, it was never implemented. Before we could say, Jack, the 5 years had elapsed, and you may be right in saying, politically, there is no demonstrable amount of political will to get it done. But I can tell you, Parliament from both sides are committed to it, but unfortunately, the executive, which is not part of the legislature, hasn't showed enough commitment, and that is very disappointing.
Politicians maybe were feeling be say a bad expose system the more, especially the corrupt practices. And no,
that's a mobile captain, because you are the gatekeepers. You are the gatekeepers. And some other issues in the news are MYM fight to corruption. At the end of the day, the politicians, as you are saying, would get away with some of these. And I would agree with you. In principle, indeed, people are having cold feet. Imagine, for instance, BOG. Clearly, when BOG should know, provisions have been made for exemptions. And the request of Modia Bay is going to delay the process.
I am in one say Parliament so can say executive in your ready in TM passes allo because he can't niho. I am in one on the part of Parliament. Reason one. Ropa na ye nisika but ye pass him run to ho. And no dan chenya disability bill say yen converting majority of state facilities no yemani ye disability friendly ni adie ina no na sika ni ho Parliament ye. As a mama crime executive no person beye.
No, the concern is that you don't want these things to be paper tigers. Imagine, for instance, the Disability Act. Up to now, go to many public institutions, including Parliament. And I have had cause to raise this on the floor of Parliament. So some of our colleagues, or more access to Chamber of Parliament, or more they are because of their disability. And we should be enforcing the law. And Captain, what use is passing laws if we are not ready to, if there's no political will to implement it? And we have seen movements across the world championed by the media, by people like you. And as you say, whatever pressure you need to bring to bear on the executive to rethink its decision on some of these things, on implementing, and also going forward, on implementing a we should do it. But more often we speak about it 1 day, 2 days, we sweep it under the carpet. It doesn't help the country.
Okay. And then I'm pass say Bia Mako Gumwa East. This one assembly send me copy information. No money si come the be photocopy. They be me met me a tria. Mo dey pass mrane my.
I completely agree with you. But you see, in the law, there is an obligation. In the law, there is an obligation for the states to provide you with that information. And you can provide it for photocopy.
There is an obligation.
I mean, you pay in the law also, you pay a certain processing fee.
So therefore, I will pay for the information. So the state requires me to pay for it. What it means is that states need here so because I am coming to pay for it.
That is a very legitimate point. And that is why I feel the explanation by the executive through the right honorable majority leader is untenable. And all of us should feel very disappointed and embarrassed. So 20 years down the line, there is still feet dragging in getting this law for the people of Ghana. We are there to serve the people. The people through you, Captain, through civil society, through many organizations. I say they need RTI 9. They need RTI now. I mean, how difficult is that in giving the people what they want? It gets so frustrating, when all manner of amendments come in to hold us back, to delay the process and the rest of it. And one can even argue, sir, for the number of amendments, proposed amendments at the Honokrano, it can also take us to the end of the year. There is even no guarantee, sir, we could finish the process immediately because of the various proposed amendments are ever.
All right, Mamimbusa Honorable Amiya Cheme, Majority Chief Whip, on so line. So, unfortunately, I've lost Honorable. Yelusio Mumbianina, a few questions to ask about this RTI bill. And Jumaya, the fight against corruption. Yeah. And the Chronicle, I saw one of the stories, Nibi says, Media Foundation for West Africa, Yama. The fight against corruption, no,
media ni
the report you had your young Wedjumano. Well, yeah,
say the account was the man I can.
Yes,
program bit is a faber was saying anything about.
Yes,
I don't know.
It's your career and what your form cocoa another.
You
can be you be a Juma, say also on so dear. Or no making sure say the party na could number him. Yet the Nipan could not come. You be a Juma, say also fast track. He said, you bear some you bedin and come. Na Ghana for who resolves.
Kwa yenti ni mpanimfo no kan ya ankasa. Agnes ansa na atwi na wopanimpa woda Media Foundation for West Africa no Suleiman Brahma en wode atudwa se nsantwerefo ye wo mayimu eba entokwa yese ye konde atia kataje no proyos ya feli. Ni e wo kiremu onie. Wo se radio stations ye Ghana ha say ye be 400. And your TV stations be 200 and your newspapers 136 enti san kontabuo ye ode atudwan so wo hwa na che say enke say ye ka print media no say ye the electronic media odi ka age ba bia enti so obi bokro no a ka wo sensentwefo tumi wuram no mane bedadi emu obi a tibi nanso no was this a wohwese ne niam asikwa ensentwefo na se amanyosem no na dodo no adi akire obi e kan won so aka bi no wokọ se obi di ne na besi form se katahye ne proye ye hyeda atu ye ho asi wono ye bo ho dawuro ne atu ase no pani che so eniam anhyeda ntwa yesa
protection ben on more journalists
asem no waka no
onimbra ye bread to access information
open protection no. We condemn any protection for nsentwerefo. We condemn.
You see, I know be as one
condemn the protection for
no. Be Yeshua. We condemn. Yekua we condemn. Yabowa Shuma we condemn.
Corruption yeah be hu. Ene ye nenam so a abranti yenua Ahmed Swallow sama.
We condemn the protection eno we condemn
in the interest of the nation.
So I say, and there's no protection.
Enti ni empanimfo no canon.
Papa no dey can I wish say what we go through after say why you fa be wo so
na so no onim pa o kan
it's coming from his quarters because so obi abekasa I expect say he should know better.
I wish say onim what we go through.
Oh onim na chronicle kro no mu chronicle kro no mu
and abranti sabe year obedi
you don't have a life.
Obedi then
Well, who's a cabis ya pay glass.
Yeah.
So we.
Yeah.
Tamoto.
Tamoto.
A signal. One fire.
Yeah, some bonnet. Omu to me guarantee say ya by adwuma no ne risk a yibi no ntu de yenya no mfa na.
This is not just an ordinary risk.
Yenya no so waka to ho. Na yenkwa mentifido enra ne afi bogatanga ba yesi ahinsie mu amansotwe e wo bogatanga nti aprosifo ya abo kwapata no ya tutu egu prosini ni bum ama yesi nro muso wo boganye ye ti ye de wiemhyen akofa prosini de na bankran ye de na bankran na hwese ne osi dabo no maginyame
ono na akopata ntokwa no
chese patafo di aba
civilians ni mo makotutu abo
police ni no ama sabe nipa no ana omoko no sese kwaku ye problem kese a ye bowo mayimu eye sane atuo si sha manfo etuo wo system no mu etuo wo system no mu rough
we etuo ni bia on the way city no tim say we enye blacksmith ne boy
no sophisticated guns chese aprosifo ne de akura kita omo pom enye ye no nye kita omo nya aprosifo Ghana say no eno ye modern tuo chen ne kita aprosifo a problem I won't know na no hwe ne ekoso wa asokwa NDC fo yi omo ye chese obi bufu ya no otutuo eno etututuo ekoso wo honomo aso ase obi tuo chen ho Ghana ye waso wagun na hwe ahinsie so de na police ni ro hwa atuo no ye bo nani ase baako ene ye bo ne bo so baako ya chese ye se ba bi eda no empanimfo small arms commission for no omo ya fa ho etuo bebreba ba system no mu ahye nipa no ni nyina so no behwe ne license ye omunye bibi mfamfa mo nyesa ba bi ekeka kɔ no enye na prosifo so na de kokɔba ba Ghana se efiri bre betwa odwa so ya kidnap nkwala ba akumienu bi no wo msi ye se wo bi abie na no na ne bayira ya kidnap ne bayira ya kidnap wo msi wo ma force alarm bi afie wo creative fear panic bi e beche wo bie wa no na ya cheme ba wan hwe ya wonmu beche watumi ye se wo kwata krade a wo bi suma ne ba se kwotwa ade na wo hwe na bi a be 30 minutes akwala ne ma ya no odimirika o ya kidnap me ba wo bi ne betwa ne mu kakra bia ya kidnap me ba aprosifo se saade no koso anhwe ye be ma o madwuma no ayedin enti o mosre
enra takrade ya yi nwumere kase bonim kwa ne ye ka takrade driver ni a wona ne yire ne te wona oba na nya problem ene wafa nkwada ne so de omu ko school wo ba yi so wonte ase chenchina obeko bi afi kotra kan mo ne driver ni no
si ese mo ne yire na eko enti ntokwa kakra omoko ni nti no wa wunim se wukunu ena de nkwala yi ko school na de achi de kwe se wa kidnap nkwala o ye mramu
ku ha ka be ma no ko
mu bu nuku no
emra wono drive ko police station na amanfo te se yese kidnap bi aba police station amanfo de abufu ye nya branch no mu nku no
false alarm no na prosifo ebo ho kokko wo the chronicle mu no kwagutu aso na yenkoye no
mama fa de obokrata daily graphic enfa ento aso enrada adefefe course na nanmata konyo mfiri bro no yafo ba ye ekohia wo mampanyine ne omufo nyine da ha ne ne ahemfo ni bi edi numa to no mu a woni wo mampanyine wo mo chia wo mu wie no mo sanso gina yiye te se kantete cameraman was ready na afi wo pu ne to left no pu akọ right to bete kraw na chese wo twa na no bi nso ekoso ho na ha yesi double track system SS2 for no aban chima was say omo be ko single track ni nyina da ene say aban aka nani akopɛ sika no wode ba be si adankra hodo na ne sika ne yesi 2.45 billion Ghana cedis say o de $1 ne mu a $500 million na de aban be ni adankra bi ho a aban sha se si ya wanwie abandada no so epen so wono so sibia no so manwi aban so obesi so wi anu wasibia ka ho ni nyina ebe 766 a chese no betimi aboa ama disuafo no benya baabi atena esua de ntino ne ne wo mo ko SS2 no double track no obetwema mo na chese wo makọ single track na etimi aboa ma no metimi akọ na IGP ede se bia ba betudwa ne sema wo ka nyina da ene se wo se Ghana fo yenka ye humum ye mo police fo na afei vigilantism no etuntwa ewo mayi emu ade enye na enye etia se kire se aduasa mienu ne yenka sentia se yempotum etutrasam ne ya doso vigilantism ene ne oye manyoni na ukọ na akofu obi se wo mramba etutrasam na obi a ya dan ya no agu so se tu ekoba ne sa be ma amanyofo ma bembebu a vigilantism won betwe ho ede efrem daily graphic de obokata
daily guide ebetwa so na daily guide katafa edu ebaako carpenter ni bia wo ashaman wadi fie aduasa enkono official town eno wo yese wo ashaman wonu mo a wo se ne girlfriend ya abone no etie wo mo ko chaluote wu enu nti wo ku oba no ne girlfriend mpna keke na carpenter ni Michael Ejiwonu ese ne chaluote yi ehyenwo wo hwehwe chaluote wo mu hwehwe chaluote wo mu bi so ba ya ase wayi nani eti anumu na mebo wo so menti ase wo twemu wo him oba krim fom oba no ansori bio eti apresi fom panimfo achi abantie ya wo chemu se chaluote hu de wukum oba eyensem hunu no wadie eti ombehwe na omde no afa emra kwan so na lawyer Morisampa so enie lawyer ni ese na mwan ne kase ye ototo ye ne kase chenchire Land Cruisers no lawyer Morisampa akofa kai ne ba akose na mwan de ne ka wontwia ye eti wo fa ka no no de ateka ni bi wo de ete so ensesa aka no na mwan ba wo metua nka ho ana yo company for se da bi o na mwan na japade abobɔ nyina no ye de wo hyato so ye wo se ye nya na se bebo ndonkom ye be nde ye twimi ye eti wo abi wo ho se ne celebrities ye age from honom no so bi wo honom afabra Morisampa so no de wo nya celebrity bi obi ama ne kayo na mwan na de ne ka enu akwafa ka no eti sempanimfo ne se won fa ka ne mra wo ka kire won na kina ka mu bio se won fa mmabon na court na so mde ne be kwa obegina no kura ne nsesa no kura no wo hwa ade nti
so ba me na ne kwa man so me ne honorable kwaku kwaten en toaso honorable good morning
Michia tiefo nyina
etiefo ina jo so pacho bibia bokode e
nyame adaro ma yekutem na Mr. Minchia Puasemai Minchia mo in a special way yeah was one as my one kind
Puasefo je wosododo honorable right information no akosi saying dem pa na ma yasan suspended
me call parliament and me call me medjuma na wo ho me fiba ministry be ye adjuma ntino me you're the right person to ask this question but they met me I can say the right information bill instructions are yenye free leadership ho and they say yama yenin ko hona ade ne yenye na infri ho intino yako parliament no pay a me sure say many details no as to exactly the entire paying for and make a decision on making but I can assure the listening public say the right to information bill e kwan bia so ye de beyemra ye de bill no beyemra and some parliament are sorry for Easter.
Hey, ebe basu before Easter.
Oh, man, yes, sir. Parliament, you're sorry for Easter. So I'm American, but in Ruhokra, the last I was in Parliament, not ye real. There were just a few mopping up provisions. Not ye real, Nissa. And American, so we drew Parliament and Nana, ye bet me, but Minyasha say idea ebe chibiasa.
And one of the other year say budget I read the 2019 there was no provision for the RTI. And until ma ya suspend and said a bit me and Sika by information officers a better say and afei won be hu adwuma ebia o market you and there was no provision in the budget and until na basa say kwesi sam padi and send na be 2020 o
Baby minim the entire obia ebe kanisa me to me boase na menya the exact detail no answer yakasa. The point is this: you see, even though right information bill you know say be passing into law no, emremu you can untumi enye budgetary provision for emra parliament nyam pass ye untumi ukwa be decide say what is the basis for this allocation osio ye de yadwene bu say so emremu ye nyina ye nim say ade ne de Ghana fo nyina epe ye be ye nso say ye wia there will always be money within the budget. So budget ye environment. You to me can say sika ye de ye we no yenda ne emu kakra ne emfa nye we. Emra no ma ye kwan ma ye yesa. And to your contingency fund kra wo ho a account wo ho a eno nso no enioma wanfo adwen bu na abebom na o se enim he ya wo ye no ye tumi ye se ye nya pass bill ne dia eho aka de ne de enya de a edin bia se yentumi nye de tanem sikai no de metumi de aswan say ena nyina ye do parliament you benya the exact details but bill we kwan bia so e be pass because last time kana na ye pese ye pass na nyoma no ekubu ye so ena about this say enko ba say ye say ade ne ye hwe ne ye ya enye e masada
Robo mamenda wase said wasem kana wo ne ye tie no maminja wo ne nya information answer wotimi aka ho asem ye a kire me
Mate, me that's
be Deputy Minister of Finance. Yada ne ye ho abasisi a ye ba ye betwa so within person.